The Dershow.
Let her write her letter. That's fine, but let it not be believed just because she wrote it. What I would suggest is that if there's any debate about the confirmation, let her call, let her testify, let her be subject to cross examination. I'd love to see Ted Cruz cross examine her about her statements regarding his attitude toward vaccines, which are way overstated, and her accusation that he was a predator. Then she doesn't accuse him of being a sexual predator. She accuses him of being a predator in the sense that he was the older of the sons and children of Bobby Kennedy, and she says, influenced some of the younger people into drugs and other kinds of things. Well, if that was the atmosphere in the Kennedy house, she has to deal with that. There's a great book written by I'm trying to remember his name now. It's called The Kennedy Imprisonment, and it's about Joseph Kennedy, the father of all the Kennedys, the father of Bobby Kennedy and John Kennedy and Ted Kennedy and the 3 or 4 other Kennedys. And it just tells a terrible story about how he brought up his children and the atmosphere around the house. Look, John Kennedy became a great president despite all of these things. Bobby Kennedy was a great attorney general, and boy, I wouldn't want to have to vouch for his private conduct in his life. And yet, for her not to realize that, or realize it and not say anything about it, and to then assume that Bobby Kennedy's private conduct will influence his public office holding, is at best hypocritical, at worst really malicious. That's why I use that term. Now, the issue about whether he maintains stock ownership in companies that might benefit from decisions that he would make as Secretary of HEW, that's fair game. That's fine. I don't think you need her for that. There are many people who could testify about that, and there will be testimony. Something irks me, though, when a relative and somebody who you've had trust in comes and testifies against you. I can understand it if it's really important to the survival of our country and all of that, but it just leaves a bad taste in my mouth. And by the way, another Kennedy, Patrick Kennedy, who I also know, really nice young man, Ted Kennedy's son, testified or wrote a letter to the Washington Post in favor of Bobby Kennedy. So it's not all one-sided.